wait, Americans hide what? Okay, we're going to this. Unwritten rules in the USA, and why nobody talks about them. My friends, I really wonder what those are, and I also wonder why you guys are not speaking about them, but I guess we shall see. Before I go into that, let me ask you for one thing. If you can leave a like, thank you so much, is the best way to show support. Now, if you can subscribe, well, in that case, forget about it, you make my day, have that in consideration. Link for the original video in my description, and let's play it.
Hey guys, welcome to Lingua Marina. Today we're going to talk about unwritten rules in the USA.
Okay.
I've lived here for 7 years.
By the way, if you guys are wondering, she's Russian, but guess what? I'm the Portuguese guy with the Russian accent. Life makes no sense. She speaks perfectly. I wish I could speak like that.
And it's interesting how this culture has a lot of rules that people don't talk to you about, but then you only realize when you are in a situation that I've been in. I did this creator economy party, which was supposed to start at 4 p.m. I'm like, okay, 4 p.m. I had a lady who came in to cook for us because I expected at least 15 people. And she cooked everything, so everything was ready at 4 p.m. Guess what? The first guest showed up at...
Wait, let me guess. At 4:20, 20 minutes late. That's crazy.
5 p.m. An hour later.
An hour? Wait, okay, that's too much, right?
And I actually realized that, you know, this is a common thing when you invite people for a party. If it's not, because I never said it was like a formal dinner. When you say, oh, let's gather together like at 4 p.m., they're like,
oh, it was a casual type of event. In that case, it makes a bit more sense, but 1 hour, my friends.
Oh, that means if we gather at 4, probably last till 8, and I will come later. And so a lot of people came later, so the food was all cold, and I was a bit upset.
Well, to be fair, it's not like that I'm gonna host events in America, but this is a big culture shock, I have to admit.
Because I expected something different, but then, you know, a month later, when I had another party, I just didn't expect anyone to show up at 4.
Smart.
So I just chilled on my terrace, didn't really start cooking until the first person arrived. Yesterday, I was at a dinner, which was kind of a formal dinner, and they told us to arrive at 6. I arrived at 6:10. I'm still doing this thing, I think.
It's a formal dinner. Arriving at 6 was the correct move.
It's European, right? When you arrive right on time. But anyways, I arrived at 6:10, of course. I was the first person, of course. My friends haven't even started cooking yet. The next couple showed up.
Okay, not even formal stuff.
I think it's 7. And the last couple, they showed up at 8. So it's like, you know, people are so relaxed here. And if it's a party, that means that they approach it in a relaxed way. You know, 4 p.m., I'll come at 6. So it's common, just don't be surprised. Oh, and
to be fair, my friends, I'm gonna be real here. These type of videos, sometimes they are a bit clickbait, but this video started very well. No one ever told me this, you know, so the title, Why Nobody Talks About Them, kind of makes more sense now.
And of course, never come early. Just don't do it, because if you come 10 minutes before the party, the host will still be probably sleeping or whatever.
Yeah, they are sleeping.
Just doing their own thing.
Fine.
Do it, unless you're very close friends. Interactions with random children. Now, it's important to be careful here. I have 2 kids, and a lot of Americans approach them and say, hey, you're so sweet. Oh, your baby's so nice. But they would never like take pictures of your kid. There was a...
Why in the world they should take pictures of your kid? Your kid is private property, you know? What?
Tourist, and she was a tourist. I knew it. She just came to Emily and took a picture, and that was so weird. And I just realized that nobody does it in the US. There are a lot of policies that protect children from being photographed in public. So never do that.
My friends, unless you are a creep, no one does it here also. If someone takes a photo of your kid without you giving permission, what the hell is that? See, like I said, this video is starting like crazy.
No matter how cute the child is, don't just come to the child and like, oh, your child is so cute, I'll take a picture. And don't touch the kids. And never ever give them anything. And it applies to dogs as well. I live in California where people care a lot about health. Like if somebody gives a sweet to a kid, I had my friend complain for hours to me that she was trying to not introduce sugar to her kid unless she was 4 years old. And there was this lady in the street that gave her candy and she ate it. And it's like, there is also like this tradition when, you know, Halloween and candy is everywhere, but I'm also trying to make Emily stay away from those candies. But anyways, never give anything to a child. And yeah, never take pictures. Oh, never jump the line. And in the US,
Never jump the line. You know what, my friends, this pisses me off so much here in Portugal. And look, I don't want to be racist or something, but old ladies, okay, this comment made no sense. I want to apologize. Race and old ladies have nothing to... Let's pretend I never said that. But basically, my friends, I'm in the supermarket. There is always, here, my friends, this happens often. There is always an old lady that ignores me and goes. A lot of times I go, excuse me? The lady says, oh, it's just this. Sorry, my friend. I was like, okay. You could ask.
US, you have the road, but you also have like this ramp, which
And I'm saying old ladies because old men never do this. Young women never do this. Middle-aged women never do this. It's always old ladies because they think they run the world.
never jump the line. And in the US, you have the road, but you also have like this ramp, which is always free. It's for if something happens, like you can park there, not even park. You can't just park there. You only can go there and stay there if something is wrong, something's happening. So basically, I was driving with a friend who was not
But this is not the line I was thinking about.
from the US. And so it was like a standstill traffic. And he went
Oh, okay.
on this ramp to just go straight ahead and, you know, get ahead of everyone. So people started blocking his way. They were like, you can't do it. This is a ramp. This is not for you to get ahead of the traffic. So never cut the line in the US. This
like
applies
that.
both to when you're driving, and this also applies to when you're just standing in line as a human. Don't get in front of everyone. Personal space, especially in 2022 when people are still scared of COVID. I was in line.
Well, yeah, back in the day, personal space was even more important. But to be fair here, my friends, personal space is something that a lot of content creators tend to bring when they talk about culture shocks in America. So I'm starting to assume this is actually a big deal in the US.
Line a couple of weeks ago. I was in line at Walgreens, and I was too close
Walgreens, I only know Walmart, and that's the wall I'm going. Walmart, Walgreens. The fact that there is greens at the end of the name, that's not for me. Sorry, young lady.
to COVID. I was in line a couple of weeks ago. I was in line at Walgreens, and I was too close to a person, like maybe this close. And he was like, "Excuse me, can you please back off a little bit?" And he was super polite. He's like, "Can you back off a little bit? I might have COVID." So he kept explaining. But I also understood, even if he didn't have COVID, it was a bit uncomfortable for me, especially at these times when we have this disease. So he asked me to back off and keep the distance. I think people now assume that we still keep 6 feet distance from each other at public places, at least here in California. And a lot of people still wear masks here, though they don't have to. It just tells you about like how cautious people are. And I think if you're a member of your community, you need to appreciate other people's attitude to what's going on in the world. And sometimes at a party, when you want to be closer to someone, and I noticed this because when I'm at a party, my voice is like, it mixes with the crowd, so I want to be closer to a person, and sometimes they would just back off. They were like, who is this weird lady trying to be so close to me? So if they do that, stay where you are. Don't be
Fine.
like, oh, hey.
No
You will
problem.
notice, sometimes it's really weird. Like you approach someone, like, hey, and they will be like, hi. So it happens. Just it's an unwritten rule, and this is why I'm making this video, so you know it can happen. Police. Now here you need to be careful.
Polyps. Polyps. English, am I right? From now on, I'm speaking American. Police. The cops.
Making this video, so you know it can happen. Police. Now here you need to be careful.
What's going
when
on?
you are stopped in your car, make sure your hands are on the wheel. Don't do
No, for real, my friends. Thank God I watched the video about this. I already know this, but I know this recently. I was watching a video, someone ended up mentioning this. I thought it was a lie. People say, André, clickbait's a lot. Everything is a lie. We are told lies. What is going on? And I do that, by the way. But to be fair here, I really thought it was a lie. So if a cop stops me, I cannot leave the car. because here leaving the car is not that offensive. I would say normally you also stay in the car here, but you can leave. There is no problem most of the time, of course. But in America is a no, right? Hands on the wheel. Okay.
Anything unless you ask for it. So there were a lot of instances where, somebody was a criminal, they had a gun. So police officers need to make sure you don't have a gun. So everything that you do should be super slow. And if they ask you for a driver's license, only then you remove your hands from the wheel and give them the driver's license. Again,
But honestly, this kind of makes sense the more I think about.
Depends on the area. Like, in the US, you have really good areas. Like where I live, Los Altos, I was stopped by police because I was doing an illegal U-turn. I kind of knew it, but I wanted to make a U-turn. He was like,
how the hell did they know?
You can't make a U-turn here. If you do it once again, I'm gonna, fine you. But then they just let me go. Or, in some areas...
They let it go. American cops. My friends here, they don't let you go.
Areas, they're really nice. In some areas, they are more cautious. So just make sure you follow all the rules, you stay calm, and you keep your hands on the wheel, and you only do things when they ask you for them.
You know what? It's nice to know that I can make a mistake at least, and nothing will happen to me, because they forget they forgive, not forget. They also forget, but they forgive you the first mistake. Good to know, my friends.
For them. Shall I speak about bribing? Doesn't work in the US. Like, don't even try to do that.
No. I also don't have money for that.
You are moving in public places in the US, always keep to your right. Like on the road. If you're...
What the hell? Sorry.
Are moving in public places in the US, always keep to your right. Like on the road. If you're in the UK, do you walk on the left then? Like, if you walk in public places in the US, you always keep to your right.
Oh, my friends, here is all over.
If you use the escalator, you always tend to your right. This is an unwritten rule to navigate in public places. The next unwritten rule is using Instagram and LinkedIn for networking.
I don't have LinkedIn. But actually I have LinkedIn. I just don't use it. I'm lying here. But I have Instagram, my friends. And guess what? There is a couple of crazy links below this video. One is for Instagram. So you can follow me there. I may post some cooking videos there, or at least some behind the scenes, or maybe photos of my beautiful kid Santiago and my wife. But there is other links. Like what? A Facebook page, because a lot of people don't like Instagram, so I have a Facebook. Check those links.
If you meet a person at a more relaxed party, like, I don't know, the parties I attend are like...
I'm gonna share something crazy right now. I like Facebook more than I like Instagram. I use Facebook more.
Blogger parties. So if you meet people there, even if they work for bigger companies, the way you...
Sorry, the reason I like Facebook more is because in Instagram is just photos, right? But in Facebook, I have some groups. For example, I love to collect cards. I shared this a couple of times already. And I'm in a lot of groups that are selling, trading cards. And I like that. I have a better sense of community, maybe.
Or like blogger parties. So if you meet people there, even if they work for bigger companies, the way you exchange contacts is actually by following each other on Instagram. And this is why sometimes you might see that some Americans follow thousands of people. This is their way of networking. They meet people, they follow them on Instagram just to keep in touch with them. If it's a more professional environment, people would...
to be honest with you, my friends, this is the same here.
Follow each other on LinkedIn. So make sure you're keeping both profiles. Well, it's up to you, but I would recommend keeping those two profiles kind of up to date. Like with LinkedIn, you fill in your job history, your education history. You don't have to actively post there. You just, update it. With Instagram, posting once in 2 weeks or once in a month, like a photo, if you want to use it for networking, that would be great. Because I'm a creator, a lot of Americans are actually impressed by the number of followers, even if it's like 20,000 followers, which my husband has 20,000 followers. And when he networks with people and they follow them on Instagram, they're like, oh my God, 20,000 followers. So it's just good. Like if you want to be active on social media, it's good for networking here. And networking in the US is really important. Okay,
To be fair, my friends, I have almost 0 followers on Instagram. I have 200,000 right here, something like that. I have 2,000 in Instagram. I mean, it is what it is.
Small talk is everywhere. You start an appointment with a doctor, and the doctor is asking you how you're feeling, what's going on in your life. Oh my God, have you noticed how hot it is? I'm so glad that COVID is over. Or I'm so glad you no longer have to wear a mask. Or if you start a conversation with your banker, they would be like, how are your kids doing? Small talk is this way to make you feel more comfortable in a new environment, and it's
This is not a unique thing, I mean, what I mean to say is we also do this, but I think like Americans are more unique at doing this, in the sense that you really do small talk everywhere, right?
everywhere. Business, your day-to-day. I can't imagine a situation without small talk. Even if you're checking out in Safeway, like a grocery store, they might say,
what about with cops? So are you a Cowboys fan? No? Sorry.
something, oh my God, you got those eggs, they're amazing. Beep. Oh my God, your baby's so cute. Beep. Like, they use the small talk all the time. I think Americans are very open and friendly by nature, and small talk doesn't mean that they're like way too interested in you.
Actually, man, this is cringe, but I have to say it. Can I get a like for Americans? Of course I can.
Your purchases. I even know that in some stores they have to do the small work and give you compliments on your choice, like, oh, you're buying this mascara. I know for some cosmetic stores they'll be, oh wow, you're getting this mascara, this is my favorite, I've been using it for years. Now sometimes it's actually in their script to make you feel better about making the right.
To be fair, this does not happen here, my friends. The small talk happens, but not in this level.
Choice. Don't take it too personally. Well, you can, but when time passes, you will get used to it. At first, I was like, oh my God, they want to be friends with me. Like, this is me. Like, whenever people are nice to me, I'm like, oh, they probably want to be my best friends. But then you realize this is actually culture, and I like this culture. Super open. It's just
I love American culture.
Like too personally that they're interested in you particularly. They will be communicating like that with almost every.
Sorry, but I have to ask this. You guys don't see any accent with her, right? I believe she's some type of teacher when it comes to different languages, so makes sense. But you don't see any accent. This is really impressive. Am I right?
Everyone they meet, which is great. It just establishes this friendly environment. And the last but not the least, smiling. Sometimes not smiling is even impolite. Smile is again this attribute of a friendly culture in the US. That was it from me for today, guys. I hope it was useful and I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Thank you so much for watching it, and I hope to see you soon in my next videos. Please subscribe to Lingua Marina to not miss.
Okay, thank you so. Why I started speaking English without fear as a non-native speaker? My friends, you know what? This video is not about America, but I guess I should take a look at that one. Who wants to watch that video with me? Number 7, my friends. I was thinking about reacting to a couple of her videos teaching English to see if I can improve a bit. Not that, look, it's easy to communicate with you, my friends, but I wish I could put this accent away. I wish I could, be a bit more comfortable with certain words. But to be fair, that's English, right? I need to learn American. Never mind. My friends, thank you so much for watching this with me. Really means a lot. You guys end up staying until the end. See you guys in the next one. Bye.